After seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin last night return to Madison Square Garden, I hope now, the younger viewer out there that watches these videos, now you have a better understanding as to why I am so overly critical when it comes to WWE not having larger-than-life superstars. Because I feel there is a huge disconnect with the younger audience that watches me. Sure, they love me, they think I'm entertaining, they think I got the knowledge in the business, that's all great, but when I speak about how their favorite superstar is not larger than life, they just don't understand. I like them, BC. Leave them alone. They're doing the best they can. Maybe, but that's the problem. See, when you grew up with superstars like Steve Austin and The Rock and Triple H, and they were larger than life because they never had a wasted movement from the time they stepped out through that curtain to the time they walked down the aisle into the ring, there was no wasted movement. Surely when they were wrestling and on their way up, no wasted movements. You always felt like you were captivated by them. You always felt like you were a part of that world. Even before that, I really grew up with the Hulk Hogans, the Ultimate Warriors, the Randy Savages, the Ric Flairs, the Roddy Pipers. I can keep going on and on. You felt entrenched into that world because they never had a wasted movement. They brought the energy from point A to point B. From the first second they stepped out through that curtain to the moment they walked back through that curtain after their match, there was never any moment where you didn't feel their energy. You saw that with Stone Cold Steve Austin last night. Even the real younger fan that wasn't a part of the Attitude Era, but you've heard about Stone Cold, you've seen some videos, you've seen some segments, you know about him, you know of him, you know what the whole shtick was in the deal. But when you saw it last night, years later now, decades later, and this guy is still bringing that energy, that passion that gets you out of your fucking seat, and you are enthralled, entrenched in his world, because at that moment, it is his world. Still to this day, you wonder why we rest on nostalgia, right? That's why. Because WWE has failed to make a superstar like that ever since. Not John Cena, not Roman Reigns, not Seth Rollins. Nobody has been able to lace up the boots like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Or these days, the sneakers of Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's just truth. That guy electrified New York City last night and anywhere he goes around the world because he still has it. It's just a part of you. And that's something that the WWE Performance Center cannot create. These wrestlers these days, they go through the same carbon copy process in their big factory down there in Orlando. But what you fail to realize is the brightest superstars, the ones that are larger than life, those are the ones that have that it factor from the beginning. It's just entrenched within themselves. And then you put the red light on and you let them go, you're gonna create magic. But when you have a plethora of individuals that just don't have the it factor, and then on top of that, you're going to give them pages of dialogue to read verbatim, word for word, it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for us not to give a shit about them. And then on top of that, as if they weren't ruined enough, then they give them 50-50 booking. So they win a week or two and then they lose 2 or 3 weeks. Then they win a match, then they lose 2 weeks. Then they win 3 weeks, then they lose 2 weeks. 50-50 booking. So in our mind, subconsciously, we can't decide if these people are winners or losers. So they just become irrelevant. Everything this company is doing for the superstars is ass backwards. And on top of that, it's just where we've come in the world as well. A lot more laid back chill, right? You got a lot of people today, people meaning superstars in WWE and wrestlers in general, that just aren't bringing that energy anymore. Not just in the ring, right? I mean, because we're seeing a lot more flips and dives. We're seeing a lot more athleticism today than we ever did back in the day. But as far as a character that captivates us, you know I'm not lying. You know I'm telling the truth when I say nobody is captivating us. You saw Austin in that ring next to Rollins and Strowman, and you know I'm right when I say there was only one larger-than-life superstar in that ring. Strowman's been there a couple years now. Rollins over 5 years. There's no reason. Multiple championships for Rollins, by the way. No reason that we shouldn't have some type of feeling when they come through the curtain like, fuck yeah, it's Rollins. Fuck yeah, it's Strowman. No, we don't. If you're a Rollins fan or a Strowman fan, you're probably saying, yeah, Rollins, yeah, Strowman, okay, yeah, I like him. They're not fucking getting you out of your seat and you're not in awe. Your jaw's not dropped. There is no more larger-than-life character, so when you see Austin come down to the ring last night, man, it was that feeling. Years later, the guy's in his 50s now, I believe, correct? Must be. And here we are, in that same feeling of the Attitude Era. You know anything can happen because Austin's in that ring with a live mic. You know anything can happen because at any moment Austin wants to go in his own realm. He's going to go in his own realm. It's the last, man. The last of that type of individual. And it's sad. When this was all said and done, we were just entrenched with Steve Austin just like we were 20 years ago, and nobody gave a fuck about Rollins and Strowman, especially for what's supposed to be coming up, a main event at Clash of Champions this Sunday, because if you blinked, you would have missed the fact that this was a go-home show to a pay-per-view this Sunday, with a main event for a Universal Championship, Rollins versus Strowman, that is so irrelevant, and I've been talking about how irrelevant this has been from the jump. But this is so irrelevant that it has had people more than ever forget that there was even a pay-per-view Sunday. And that's your main event. Steve Austin captured the headlines and captured our attention for one main reason. He is larger than life. Everybody, listen to me, everybody in that company is not right now. And that's the disconnect. So when you got a guy like The Rock come back, he's going to be larger than life. When you see Triple H come back with the leather jacket and Time to Play the Game is blasting through the arena, yeah, larger than life. When The Undertaker does come down to the ring, yeah, jaws dropped, larger than life. When Mustafa Ali comes down to the ring, no. When Pop Collar Finn Balor comes down to the ring, no. When the Revival comes down to the ring, no. When Seth Rollins comes down to the ring, no. Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns. The Viking Raider Warrior Experience Adventure, no. There is an issue, and there's been for years. What I would have done last night is you had your feel-good moment with Steve Austin. In the club, if you're going to bring out the OC, Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, you have them attack Steve Austin. Annihilate him, and you make a name for Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. Styles already has the name recognition, but what you could do with AJ Styles in a Stone Cold attack is you could make him relevant once again, because for the past year, AJ Styles has been irrelevant. You took one of your brightest stars, and you made him shine much more dimmer than ever before. So he could get his relevancy back, and Gallows and Anderson could finally get any relevancy in the company. That could have done wonders for the OC. I originally said Bray Wyatt would be good attacking Stone Cold last night. But if you're gonna bring the OC, have them attack Stone Cold at some point. If not in that segment, backstage. Instead, they opted to go the feel-good moment at the beginning of Raw, and then the feel-good moment at the end of Raw with Stone Cold. I would have used that moment. If he's going to take some bumps anyway, and Stone Cold's going to drop a couple of stunners, because when Raw went off the air, he dropped another stunner on Styles. So if he's going to take some bumps, have him do the job for somebody, and let's try. Let's start the process. Here's a crazy concept. to create stars in that company that one day we may look at as larger than life. Because it's sorely missing, and that's why this is my opening monologue in this review video for Raw last night, 9/9/19. That had to be my opening monologue. Larger than life stars. Why did they bring out Stone Cold? Why do we still love it today like we did back in the day? Because he captivates us in a way that no one else does. I said it for a couple weeks now. I'm really watching Raw with two main focal points. There's only two real stars that are shining brighter than everyone, and that's Sasha Banks and Bray Wyatt. How crazy of a concept is that when Bray Wyatt has only been seen once at the last pay-per-view and ever since Firefly Funhouse segments? But he's one of the only superstars that's intriguing us. Sasha Banks' heel turn has been one of the only things that's really intrigued us, superstar-wise, and we're actually following what their next move is going to be. There's a couple people I got my eye on that could be larger than life if WWE gives them the ball and lets them try to score that touchdown. But unless WWE gives them that chance and opportunity, it's irrelevant. And everyone coming down from NXT in the Performance Center, they're just carbon copies of one another with scripted promos and dialogues pages long. I need people with that it factor that just captivate us. No, I don't care if you're an AEW, Dick Ryder, ROH, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA. I'm not seeing a lot of these larger-than-life superstars anywhere. I see some good ones, some ones that are good on the mic, some ones that are good skill-wise in the ring, some with a combination of both, but nobody that's just drawing me to them. And I know I speak for a lot of us. We need these type of characters back. Hell, that's the reason that CM Punk chants still rain out through arenas today, because people are holding on to any last semblance of that type of character. Anything. Even if it wasn't that great. It was the last known concept of something that could have been something huge in the business. And people hold on to that. They don't want to let that go. WWE has something special where they have all this talent. Let's see what they truly have. Let's see if they truly, if you let them go on their own, if they swim or sink. But let's see. They deserve the opportunity. And then on top of that, if Vince does give them that chance, do they have it in themselves to break out and give us that feeling, that emotion, that this guy, this gal is larger than life? That remains to be seen. I'm seeing a lot of the same carbon copy blueprint. Everybody is just almost the same. In fact, not almost. Everyone just seems the same to me. That shit's gotta end, man. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin last night, man, he brought us all back to what we love in this business, a larger-than-life superstar. And when you put two larger-than-life superstars together in a match at a pay-per-view, that's when everybody's buzzing. When you put two superstars that are not larger than life and you put them in a feud of irrelevancy that nobody gives a shit about, that's a pay-per-view nobody's gonna be buzzing about. In fact, most of your audience will forget there's even a pay-per-view Sunday, and that's what they've done with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. That whole opening 20-plus minute segment last night to open up Monday Night Raw did nothing for Rollins and Strowman. It was great, no doubt, that segment, because it had Stone Cold in it. What am I talking about? Let's jump right into it. The first very part of Monday Night Raw's return to MSG last night, we heard the glass shatter and Stone Cold Steve Austin kicked off Raw. That's how I remembered kicking off Raw back in the Attitude Era. So yes, immediately I was all up in the feels, man. There's no question. Austin downs a couple of beers, he tells some MSG stories, and then introduces Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins for their contract signing. The contract gets signed while Braun and Seth are still playing buddy-buddy, basically. There's no animosity at all, and that's what I mean. There's no reason for me to care about this match at all. Contract gets signed, and then the club hits the ring. At that point, it was a welcoming sight. I need some type of animosity. At that point, we're all just buddies. So the contract gets signed, the club hits the ring. There's a fun interaction between the crowd and the club. This NYC crowd was lit from the jump. fun interaction with the crowd in the club, and even better interaction between Styles and Austin. And it ends in a melee with Austin stunning Styles to cap it off. So we have a Stone Cold Stunner to kick off Monday Night Raw's return to MSG, and that was on AJ Styles. AJ Styles stole the shit. He stole the moment too in a way. But he sold the shit out of that Stone Cold Stunner a la The Rock. And Stone Cold afterwards actually took to Twitter and basically said those same words. How AJ Styles sold the shit out of that stunner like The Rock. The Rock actually responded to that too. AJ Styles and The Rock had a little fun exchange on Twitter. So I love the way Styles sold that shit. I love the fact that there was a stunner. Again, I hate the fact that it was flipped. I would have had the OC taking out Austin somehow. Either Strowman and Rollins are already gone, or they get taken out. In some way, Austin gets taken out by the OC. I think that would have done wonders for the club, for the OC. Instead, they had it backwards, where Styles is just eating a stunner, and it makes the OC look that much weaker. The problem with that is the OC has a chance to be something. First of all, it's headed by AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers in the world, and it's got Gallows and Anderson, a formidable tag team. That's legit. And not only were they a joke beforehand, they formed this OC stable now, and all of a sudden, it's right back to they're the joke. Now, I understand it's to Stone Cold, so no harm, no foul, but still, wasn't that a moment where you could have said, let's make the OC look really dominant? But anyway, I digress. It was a good MSG moment. Stone Cold then cracked some beers with Rollins and Strowman, and it was a good fucking moment. Again, you're talking about someone who just, I love that type of character, man. Just give me a larger-than-life character, and I'm fully aboard. So, it was cool to hear that glass shatter. Austin's fucking reigning supreme in the ring. It was good shit. Now, here's what wasn't good shit. All right, Strowman Rollins. What did this do? When we went to commercial at 8:23 p.m. Eastern Time, so over 20 minutes in that first segment, when we went to commercial, what did that do for Rollins and Strowman at Clash? A contract, you couldn't have done that any other way. All of that was just so they sign their names on the paper and they're still buddies. That's all it was. There's no animosity at all, literally. And in the end, Stone Cold is the one that was reigning supreme. I don't even know what Strowman and Rollins were. Were they even drinking beer in that first segment? I know at the end of Raw they all were. I don't even know what they were doing really anymore because they were irrelevant. And that's your main event at the pay-per-view coming up. Oh, Clash of Champions is setting up to be big time, baby. Larger than life. What did that do for Rollins and Strowman? We'd love to know. It's rhetorical, guys. It did nothing. Nothing at all. This has been the most poorly produced setup for a main event match that I have seen in quite some time. And that's saying something with this fucking company. When we came back from commercial from that opening segment, Styles was still in the ring, kind of droggy, and you got Cedric Alexander coming down for a matchup. Now, this was a pretty good matchup between Styles and Alexander because it's Styles and Alexander. The problem is, it was a damn good matchup for the first 3 minutes. Then we went straight to commercial. So they just started to kind of get their groove together in those first 3 minutes, and we all as an audience established what this match was going to be, and it was what we thought, pretty damn good. And Vince takes us to commercial. And I feel like I should never again complain about this, however, after the atrocity we all just went through this past summer with Vince's no wrestling during commercials rule. That was just, that was an atrocity in its own level, in its own world. No wrestling during commercial made the whole show. It was intolerable. I could not, it was unacceptable. I don't know what word I can come up with. I literally wanted to change the channel 27 times every episode when they had that rule in effect. Let them wrestle through commercial. Fuck it. It's better than coming up with all of these weird, stupid, nonsensical ways to stop a match or to restart a match. So I guess what I'm saying is beggars can't be choosers. It sucks that they went to commercial after just 3 minutes with Styles and Alexander, but I'd rather that than no wrestling during commercial rule. That's unacceptable. So anyway, we come back from commercial and they win another 2 minutes, and the magic by then, as I feared, had worn off. There was just no way that they were going to hold that. Once you go to commercial, you are then told to kind of lighten it up a bit, and then you're asking these performers to now heighten it back up. And by the way, WWE's world-class bookers and creators, they only gave them 2 minutes after commercial to entertain us. So there's no way that they could... When they went to commercial, I think we all kind of knew. If you're a diehard wrestling fan and you know what's about to happen, you know that when we come back from commercial, we already got the best of that match, and it was only 3 minutes. Anyway, I know I'm going on a long-winded review on this one match because it was only 5 minutes, but I feel that there's a backstory here that needs to be explored by WWE. Hey, if you got to go to commercial after 3 minutes, that's fine, but when you come back, give them more time. Let's see if we can recapture that. We come back from commercial, 2 minutes later, Gallows and Anderson are interfering and costing Styles the match for no reason. Why, if Styles was in no real jeopardy of losing that match? We don't know if he was really in jeopardy of losing against Alexander in 5 minutes, but for some reason, Gallows and Anderson interfere and cost their own brother in Styles the match. 0 sense to me. And then the Viking Warrior Raider Experience Adventure comes down for the save on Cedric, setting up a feud between the Vikings and Gallows and Anderson. And this is what I mean. This is why Gallows and Anderson should have never dropped the straps a few weeks ago. Just to be props for Rollins and Strowman, which nobody gives a fuck about. Because a few weeks ago, Gallows and Anderson were starting to get some momentum with those tag straps. If they had held them to this very day, and then the Viking Raider Warrior Experience Adventure comes down, now that could be a legit feud for the straps. That could be something we care about. But after just a few weeks of holding the titles, the tag straps, Gallows and Anderson were defeated by Rollins and Strowman for no reason other than to be props for them going into their main event at Clash of Champions. And still, to this day, nobody cares about it. So that shows you that the Amplified Man was right again. It was going to do nothing for them, and it did nothing for them. So in the end, I was correct. The belt should have stayed on Gallows and Anderson. Then you bring in the Viking Warrior Experience Time Machine Adventure, and boom! We have something we care about in the tag division. But now, with no straps on the line and Gallows and Anderson looking like chumps, and the Viking Raider Warrior Experience Time Machine Adventure coming out of nowhere after 3 months, taking on jobbers, who's gonna care about this tag team match? WWE made it to where we couldn't care about it. They succeeded. We don't. So that was the whole Styles Cedric Alexander. The first hour ended with Roman Reigns, and he has a real heartfelt segment with some kids from right here in New York City, New Jersey. And they're fighting some real serious shit, these kids, man. And as I left on Twitter, and I quote, "I may not always like the direction of the Roman Reigns character, but Joe the man is good people. And I definitely would buy him some beers in the future. Those kids are absolute warriors, and whenever you think your life sucks, just remember there are kids in this world fighting for their life." So the whole first hour, we started with that nostalgic feel of Stone Cold Steve Austin and the goosebumps, and then we ended the first hour all up in our feels in a separate way, and that's with these kids and Roman Reigns' heartfelt segment. So the first hour had me all up in my feelings, man, I ain't gonna lie. The second hour, what did that bring to us? That actually brought to us some damn good wrestling a couple of times in the second hour. Let's talk about it. Now, it seemed like Paul Heyman's recipe last night was simple. Some damn good wrestling mixed with some nostalgia. That'll please the New York City crowd, and it did for the most part. That crowd was electric last night. I really wish I could have been there, and I probably should have been. I opted to do a Jersey Shore day instead. So I went down to Ocean City, but fuck it, man. You know, I thought WWE might throw up a complete mulligan. They didn't. Paul Heyman knew the recipe. Nostalgia mixed with some good wrestling. The problem was there was just too much bullshit mixed in, which is why the show didn't come off as a real success as it should have with some of this wrestling. And I'll get right into it, man. Second hour, Sasha and Bayley versus Becky and Charlotte. You guys know I have an issue because they tried this not too long ago, too, with Becky and Charlotte teaming up, and I was just like, come on, man. It just doesn't make sense. One's supposed to be a face, one's supposed to be a heel. I want them separate from one another. There's no business with them being a tag team. On the other flip side, for a whole year plus, I did not want to see Bayley and Sasha together, and here they are together again. But this just feels right. It's Madison Square Garden. Let's showcase the women, and what better way than the 4 Horsewomen imploding on one another. And this new Sasha and Bayley together now, with this edge to them, I'm on board with this Sasha and Bayley. Not the little connection, boss and hug, patting children on the head and bringing smiles to kids' faces and autographs. I wasn't on board with that because I knew they weren't going to get anywhere. But them with an edge, I'm down with that. So this match just felt right. If they gave them the time, this could have been special. Guess what? They gave them the time. This was pretty damn special. They gave them 5 minutes up front to establish themselves before going to commercial. So that's good. Beats 3 minutes like Cedric and AJ Styles. So they gave them 5 minutes to really set up. Not only did they establish themselves, they had the crowd in attendance in Madison Square Garden. This is not easy to do. They had the crowd chanting, "This is awesome," before we even got to commercial. So within 5 minutes, the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Then we went to commercial. So you knew this match was landing right from the jump. But then back from commercial, we went another over 10 minutes. And they absolutely rocked the Garden. As I stated on Twitter, and I quote, "So proud of those ladies. When you give actual talent, actual time to showcase what they can actually do, you'll get a damn good match. Over 15 minutes and not one of them wasted. Nicely done, ladies. That's all we ask for." Meaning, that last part was for WWE and Vince. That's all we ask for. And I tagged every one of those ladies in that tweet as well because I wanted them to, whether they see it or not, I wanted them to know that we're proud of them, dude. They went out there, they were given over 15 minutes, which is not something they normally get, and they delivered, man. And I knew they would. Those are 4 of some of the best talents they have in that company. Whether I think some are better than the other, whether I think talent-wise 1 or 2 are better than the other 1 or 2, whether I think some are better on the mic or not, overall, I know what they're capable of if Vince just gives them the chance. All 4 of them. And that's why if anyone ever says I'm biased against one of the 4 or 2 of the 4 or whatever, I'm not. I want to see the best. And that's why I was so positive about that match last night. That's why MSG was on their feet chanting, "This is awesome," and loved that match. And that's a New York City crowd. That's why the response to that match was so in high positivity. It's because it delivered, because we knew it would if Vince just let them and gave them the chance and let them rock the Garden. He did. You had to believe this was Paul Heyman lobbying for this time. So I want to give Paul that credit, really, not so much Vince. But the real credit in the end goes to Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. What a match to start the second hour, man. I can't speak enough praise. Such a good match, man. At not one point did I feel bored from it. At not one point was there like a lull in it. They would bring the match to the outside if there for a moment seemed to be like a drop. They would bring it outside. The crowd would get re-energized. Not that they ever died down, but it was just like everything flowed right. It was really good, man. And I'm sure in a match like this, some people might say, "Oh, there was a couple of botches, though." Are you kidding me? If you watched that over 15-minute match and you're talking about botches this morning, you got a couple 2-3 screw looses in your dome piece. Shut the fuck up in IBS. They gave you over 15 minutes in the Garden, rocked that place out, and then they botched a couple of times. In minute 6:12, right here, I have in my notes. There was a big boot that missed. Stop it. Stop. Please, stop. Trust me, it's my duty as a reviewer to go over this shit. And I know when it's time to hold up there. Hold the fucking train up. Let's start giving people their fucking props. And it's so good to see the wrestling community this morning, man. That's the one thing. Usually this doesn't happen in the wrestling community. We all came together and showed them the respect that they deserved after that match, man. Social media was electric last night in showing these ladies their props. Everything that I saw, I don't think I saw any negativity actually on the match. I just know there's probably some people out there that are going to fucking count botches or something. You know how people are, especially with women's wrestling. They won't even give them a chance, or the standards will be so high for women's wrestling that it's unobtainable, man. You know what I mean? It's like, relax. This is Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte over 15 minutes in the Garden. The Garden was rocked and electrified. There's no way that I could have seen any negativity on this match. So that's probably why we didn't. I think it was even impossible, even for the biggest naysayers, it was impossible for them to find a shred of criticism in this match. Impossible. This was so refreshing to see. I just had my reservations all day that they weren't going to give them enough time. They did. They performed. I love it. Much respect. Sasha, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte, thank you so much. And thank you, Paul Heyman, for lobbying that time, because I know that was a Heyman deed. We then went into Rey Mysterio in the Grand Metalik. I just love saying that, sorry. Even though this was only 5 or 6 minutes tops, it was a damn good match. And probably because it's Rey Mysterio and Grand Metalik. Sorry, that's gotta stop. I know. Obviously, when you put those two in the ring, they're gonna perform, man. And it was just cool seeing it right after a good match that we just saw in the ladies' tag match, to see Mysterio and Grand Metalik actually have the crowd on their feet, and it was just in 5 to 6 minutes. Could you imagine if they gave them 12-13? Ho, second match in a row I actually enjoyed thoroughly, and I know most of us did. We were about to have a third good match in a row, too, but before we could get to that, we got 3 minutes of the Street Profits running their fucking mouths nonstop in all of their annoyance. Not all of their brilliance, all of their annoyance. I don't even blame the Street Profits. I blame Vince McMahon and the horrible booking of the Street Profits to make them these type of annoying characters. They were just hyping up like they always do. That's all they're there for. Not to be taken as a legit threat. They're here to hype up programs for WWE. They're worse than cheerleaders. They were there last night. They were hyping up the Clash of Champions. They were hyping up D-Bry and Roman Reigns and that whole storyline. So not just Raw, they're hyping up some SmackDown shit too. They were hyping up Beverly Hills 90210's reboot. They were hyping up the new chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. Who knows what else they were hyping up? After 30 seconds, I tried to put the shit on mute. Evidently, my remote's batteries were fucking, pretty fucking low or some shit, but it would not fucking trigger, and I had to listen to another half a minute of them. After the whole Street Profit bullshit, we were then brought back to some real wrestling. Now, this involves Baron Corbin, I know. BC, a good wrestling match with Baron? I know. But I saw something special with Baron Corbin last week, and I saw it again this week, man. This was the King of the Ring semifinal. It was a triple threat, Samoa Joe, Ricochet, and Baron Corbin. Yeah, the crowd was insane for this match. Another one, man. New York City was pumped for these matches, and for good reason. There were some good matches, especially in that second hour. It was good. I wouldn't go ballistic of how good it was, but it was a solid match. You know, like, I wouldn't rate that the fucking match of the year or even match of the month. I wouldn't go hard, I would be hard-pressed to do such, so I wouldn't go ballistic like some people are on social media. But yes, it was a solid match for sure. Being a schmaz triple threat match, which I usually don't like. It was clear, the game plan from Paul Heyman anyway, as I said. I just said this a minute ago. It was clear that his agenda was just mixing some good wrestling with some nostalgia and Stone Cold. And we will have a recipe of something successful. And he was right, man. His recipe was to just add in the ingredients of let these motherfuckers go out there and perform like they're capable of. And that's what these three gentlemen were given the time to do. Thank you, Paul Heyman. Again, that's all we ask for sometimes. Let them go out and let them do their shit. Ricochet hits Joe with the 630 senton, but Corbin throws Ricochet out and takes the cover himself, so Corbin wins. I told you guys weeks ago, Vince McMahon is going with King Corbin, it looks like. I said that weeks ago, I said it 2 weeks ago, I said it last week, and I'll say it again this week. It looks like we are going to crown King Corbin at Clash of Champions. So just get ready for it. A lot of you guys might be fucking pissed off about that. All of this King of the Ring bullshit was just to put the scepter, robe, and crown on Baron Corbin. So that's how the second hour ended. And listen, again, whether you like Baron Corbin or not, you like that decision or not, you wanted to see Ricochet win or Samoa Joe, I get you. But we can't escape the fact or not acknowledge the fact that the entire second hour was a lot of good fucking wrestling. It's what we always ask for. So in hour 1, we had the nostalgia. In hour 2, we had the wrestling. Far from a tragic show, at least. Right? At least they didn't come to MSG with a complete disappointment. So we begin hour 3, mind you. For the first real time in the night, the crowd finally died down a bit. It took to hour 3 for the crowd to kind of sit down. And that's because we were treated to a rather boring Natty and Lacey Evans match. Somebody thought that was a match that was going to captivate New York City. Or maybe they wanted that to be the downer because the next match was their big 5-on-5 main event. So maybe just like they do at pay-per-views, they wanted that lull in the night. They wanted that downtime for the crowd. So I think that's more of what it was. Otherwise, there would be no reason to see Natty and Lacey Evans. Nobody was into this. It was what it was, which I'm not really sure what it was. But anyway, Natty taps out Evans. Good old 50-50 booking. You wasted our time for months with Lacey Evans in the title picture, wasting Becky's time and killing her momentum in the process. And here we are a little over a month later, and she's tapping out to Natty. She's a main eventer one day, and the next day, she's in the middle of Raw tapping out to a mid-carder. Sorry, Natty, you're based in the mid-card. If even. So that's what I mean. They don't know what they're doing, and 50-50 booking is ruining not only the superstars, but it's ruining their own product. Up next, Bray Wyatt delivers another masterful Firefly Funhouse. Even talks a little bit of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So even though we didn't get the Bray Wyatt attack on Austin, we got some dialogue over to Austin. And we kind of went into Bray Wyatt's diabolical world when speaking of Austin. I just thought that was really cool. And he planted the seeds for Hell in a Cell. Because as I told you guys on the last 2 podcasts here on this channel, Bray Wyatt will be taking on either Rollins or it could be a triple threat knowing WWE, and or Braun Strowman inside Hell in a Cell. And spoiler, I broke the news this past week on the podcast. It looks like it's going to be Rollins because Canada has some live events and they're promoting Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. Usually before pay-per-views, Vince will have his talent go out and do these live events together and kind of, I hate to say this word in pro wrestling, but kind of practice/rehearse, go over what works and what doesn't, and then they hit the stage on the pay-per-view and they worked out all their kinks by then. So that's what it looks like because they are advertising Rollins and Bray Wyatt. So, spoiler. But I love that Firefly Funhouse, man. The entire cast of characters had dialogue. You had Ramblin' Rabbit with some lines. You had Abby with some lines. You had the little fat pig. What's his name? All of them had some lines. I loved it. It would have been cool. MSG, Monday Night Raw. It's been 10 years since we've had a Raw on MSG. If Bray Wyatt the Fiend showed up. But the Firefly Funhouse delivered, and that's at least something. Beggars can't be choosers. And then it was time for the clusterfuck schmaz of a main event. 5 versus 5. Pointless as fuck. Robert Bobby Roode. Dolph Ziggler, The Club, taking on Rollins Strowman in the Viking Warrior Experience Adventure Time Machine. Whatever the fuck they're called. That was your 5-on-5. Where did this even stem from? Why? Because Gallows and Anderson jumped Cedric? Because... why would Rollins and... because the OC came... this match was so pointless in so many ways. It took the whole first half of this match, and they gave them time, guys. Near 20 minutes they gave them. It took the whole first half of the match for the crowd to even begin to give a fuck. Now, to their credit, they managed to turn this shit show into some semblance of entertainment. So I will give these participants some credit here, because when we did come back from that first commercial, that second half of the match, business did pick up. The crowd at least did get to their feet and were into the match. Even the Amplified Man was a little bit more into it. So you do have to credit the superstars in this match. It ended with Cedric Alexander pinning the U.S. strap holder AJ Styles for the finish. Now, a lot of people are saying that's anticlimactic. I'd be one of them. Monday Night Raw in 2019. A return to MSG. And Cedric Alexander's getting the final pinfall. But on the other hand, you got to look at it and say, hey, we're always asking that company to give people a chance. That's a huge opportunity and chance for Cedric. Hopefully he runs with it, and we'll see if he swims or sinks in the future. Do I think he has that it factor to be larger than life? Sorry, not sorry? Absolutely not. Cedric is not that guy. Mustafa's not that guy. Pop Collar Finn is not that guy. Come on, guys. I'm being realistic. Even if you're a fan of all those individuals, I don't see anybody that can be really larger than life. There's a couple people I got my eye on that have the capability, possibly, but it would take Vince thoroughly giving them the ball and waiting until they score, because I just don't see it in that company. A couple of people there's a possibility. I'll give myself a spoiler here. Bray Wyatt is one of them. Vince has to give him a real chance now to just captivate people. Jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring performances. They'll deliver. You just gotta give them the time and the segments to do such. The correct booking, the correct creativity. Anyway, I digress. That's a whole nother topic. Cedric ends the night. Almost, right? We had the glass shatter. The second Cedric wins this match, post-match, the glass shattered once more. Stone Cold Steve Austin runs down to the ring, throws everyone some beers, and we end Raw NYC MSG the right way with Stone Cold's beer bash. I say the right way. Again, I would have had Stone Cold actually doing the job for somebody or somebodies, either Bray Wyatt or the OC. You know, I would have had Stone Cold taking some bumps for them and really trying to create stars in MSG. What better place to do such? Instead, they opted to go with the feel-good moment that they had at the beginning of the show as well. A Stone Cold beer bash. Stone Cold thanks everybody for coming out. We fade to black and go off the air. Listen, you can't fault it. It was a feel-good moment. I would have had the reverse. I would have had Stone Cold doing the job. But the Stone Cold beer bash is always going to fucking entertain us. It's Stone Cold on top of the wrestling world. Of course, that's entertaining. They know they can rest on nostalgia when it's a guy like Stone Cold or a guy like The Rock. You know, it's not like you're bringing back fucking Al Snow or fucking D'Lo Brown, you know. Although it would be good to see them as well. But they know what they were doing, man. Paul Heyman knows what he was doing. Again, he knows that he's still... Guys, this isn't just Paul Heyman, the fact that we didn't have a complete good show. His hands are still tied by Vince McMahon. You know this. The fact that that was Paul Heyman's game plan, and you know it was. The nostalgia moment with Austin. You have him dropping some stunners. And then on top of that, you have a lot of good wrestling last night. Matches that were given time. You know, that's going to entertain NYC and the majority of the fan base. So, Paul Heyman, I really do feel he's... You know, you got to remember, guys, this has only been a couple months for Paul Heyman that he's been in this role, and he's still handcuffed by Vince. I feel the last several Monday Night Raws, I've been seeing little bits here and there that are improvement drastically. All they need to do now is put it all together. They're not even close to doing that yet. But I do see these little improvements, and that just has Paul Heyman's blueprint all over it. And I feel that this was definitely a lot of Paul Heyman last night. And giving some of these matches some time and letting them showcase some shit. So, listen, all in all, the return to MSG was not a failure. That's a plus, man, because I had these little fears in me that were like, they're going to come to MSG really hyped up, and they're going to deliver just a fucking... They're just going to bomb it. It didn't happen. It didn't fail. In fact, a lot of this show was good. I don't know about good shit, but a lot of the show was good. You know, Stone Cold dropping those stunners is always good. You hate to see it with AJ Styles, but AJ Styles is one of those guys that can easily bounce back from that. It's fucking AJ Styles. So you saw the stunners, you got the Stone Cold moments, with an S, moments. We had, oh my God, that tag team match with the females in there. Becky and Charlotte versus Bayley and Sasha. Just fucking really good. That triple threat match with Baron, Ricochet, and Samoa Joe, real good. A 6-minute match with fucking Grand Metalik and Rey Mysterio. Went out there and gave you what they had. Even the 5-on-5 schmaz, half of that match was actually pretty fucking decent. So they went and did their thing, man. You know what I mean? It just, there was too much bullshit mixed in that it doesn't allow me to say completely this was a good show. And that sucks. They got to get rid of some of that bullshit. We can do without the 3 minutes of hype with the Street Profits. You know? That Roman Reigns thing, that as special as it was, and giving those kids the respect and props they deserve, maybe that's a WWE.com type of thing. Instead of a Firefly Funhouse, maybe you actually bring out The Fiend to Madison Square Garden for an electrifying moment that we remember for fucking ever. You know, little things here and there we could add in and take out a lot. That's just one man's, of course it's a brilliant man's thought process, but it's just one man's. Everyone's got their own cup of tea, I understand that. Or a cup of coffee, but you get what I'm saying. The Amplified Man, I'm going to shut up for now, guys. And hopefully you guys go out and kick the rest of this Tuesday. We all enjoy, hopefully, a second night at MSG tonight. SmackDown Live. I might actually go. It's very early morning on this Tuesday morning. So if I can finish all the shit that I have to do, don't be surprised if I wind up in Madison Square Garden tonight. We'll see. I kind of got some things the hamster is spinning in the wheel up in the dome piece. We'll see. But hopefully, no matter what, you guys enjoy it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll talk about it just like we did Raw, and I'll give you guys the utmost in truth, facts, and research, man, making this the place to be. When Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, AEW, NXT, when all those shows go off the air, this channel is the place to be for the most realist review in the game today. And I thank you guys for making it such. The Amplified Man, for now. Ow! Check you later.